Hello everyone, so this video is going to cover the crafting ingredient locations where you need to pick things up to craft bombs and where to use bombs. Now, for Grounded specifically, all the pickups and stuff are very specific. There's very little variation, like if you miss this one, go back for this one. It's all very strict and specific to have just enough by the end of the game to go as fast as you possibly can. And I'll start off with saying this. With regards to parts and supplements, the original game and the remake are exactly the same. But with Grounded, crafting ingredient amounts and locations in the original compared to the remake are entirely different. So you can't look at the video I made for the original and apply it here. It's completely different. The way it's different is there's a lot more. In the original, there were, on Grounded, again, this is for Grounded, there's a lot more, there was a lot more, like a quarter of one ingredient, or nothing at all. In this game, there's noticeably a lot more to pick up. So there are times where you're not really ever going to be short on some stuff. But again, we have a route. It works. It's very by the book, and it's good. But there's a lot more, like, whole ingredients in the entire game. Now, one big difference is in the original, when you picked up your very first Molotov, med kit, nail bomb, smoke bomb, whatever, shiv or modded weapon even, and your inventory was empty with regards to those specific crafting ingredients, you would get an entire thing of crafting ingredients whenever you picked up your first of one of the things that I mentioned. In the remake, that's not there. So when you pick up your first Molotov, the game doesn't give you the crafting ingredients for a Molotov. You got to pick those up yourself. So right off the bat, we're at a little disadvantage, but you kind of make up for it with the whole ingredients that weren't there in the original. So I'm going to show off every crafting ingredient pickup for the Grounded run that's currently routed. And the first spot is going to be in downtown. Now, these specific crafting ingredients were there in the original, but we didn't have to pick them up because of the getting the stuff filled in your inventory. You also don't have to hit anything here. Naughty Dog's lying to you. And I'll explain the speedrun strat here. You want to hold down sprint right around here.
You all right?
It's nothing.
And Joel will actually be able to sprint this little hallway. And if you keep sprint held down the entire time, even during this, he'll also be able to sprint during this part. If you let go at all, this would be a jog. And then eventually right here he slows down. But what the sprint does, it allows you to pick these up quick. So you have a full thing of alcohol and a full thing of rags right there. And then you go over where Tess is.
Come on, big guy.
And then you continue onward. So just lock this in your mind. You have a shiv, but it doesn't matter. You don't craft any shivs throughout the run. You also don't craft any med kits. You pick those up manually. Yeah, you pick those up in slums, and then at the end of Capital, right before Billstown, there's a med kit just there. That's not there in the original. But, yeah, one alcohol and one thing of rags by this point. All right, the next crafting ingredient is in the middle of the Capital. So it's not up here, that's just a rifle. It's in the next part.
Fireflies! Pin him down!
I got him! Cover the exits!
They're heading to the rear exit!
Figured I'd show that off real quick. Okay. Now the crafting ingredient is an entire rag. Like I said, there's a lot more whole things here. It's right there.
Joel, how are you
Full
doing?
rag right there. Enemies have good eyesight. Now, you don't just want to mash triangle leading up to it, because that, like, shifts his momentum a little bit. So what you want to do when picking something up is swap to another gun.
Joel, how are Everything.
And he doesn't have that like picking up animation because again, that can like mess up his momentum a little when you want to change it real quick right here. So, yeah, I also noticed you can pick it up from a little bit further away compared to if you weren't swapping weapons. That's why you'll notice us go right, left on the D-pad or left, right before we pick something up because it skips his picking up animation and it teleports it to his inventory. So altogether, it looks like this.
What are we doing? Joel, how are we gonna get out of here?
Now, I was really far away, but he technically picked it up. And I'll just show off. You can still do the rest of the area.
Joel, how are we gonna get out of here?
As long as you're mashing triangle right there. You gotta mash.
Through that hall. Stay down. I don't know how many more there are.
You have to come through here. Comb the area.
Joel,
So,
Run away!
alright, we good. And then we're safe. Oh god, Ellie. Now, if you notice, we have 0 and 1. That's because I already... I crafted a Molotov. There are 2 different places you can craft a Molotov in this part. There's no specific spot. You just need to craft one. Like from the moment you pick up the first thing, like the rag and the alcohol in downtown, you just need to craft it during downtime. And that downtime could be when you're waiting to go, like, shimmying along the building, or waiting for Tess to drop the ladder in downtown, or you can do it waiting for Ellie to drop the ladder here. I usually craft it after the upside down shooting when you're waiting for Bill to open the door. So you can choose, but you know, normally right here, if you add the 2 together, we would have 1 alcohol and 2 rags. So yeah, that's about it here. And you notice we have an extra Molotov, so I crafted it at some point earlier. But yeah, craft it during downtime. But normally you would have 1, then 2. If you craft it, you have 0, then 1. Okay, next spot. All right, now we are at the start of Bill's graveyard. The only crafting ingredient you need to pick up and think about here is this. This is all that's here. Half a rag. So that means, yep, now we have, you would have crafted a Molotov by now. So 0 and 1.5 rags. And this is where we're introduced to nail bombs.
Yeah, I've seen your handiwork.
Now, throughout the run, we use 2 nail bombs. 1 in financial and 1 in science lab. This is the one we use in financial. The one in science lab, we need to find crafting ingredients for that. And the pickups are pretty spread throughout, but we'll get to that later. As for here, there's the nail bomb. There's what you should have by this point.
We got shotguns and bombs. What the hell are we doing with them?
All right, now we're in the high school. There's no crafting ingredients to pick up, but we do use one of our Molotovs here, so I want to point that out. Shotgun. So we use a Molotov right there. All right, ignore the messiness right there. That Molotov kills that one runner, and it also kills a second runner that falls down from the second floor of the school. I know it doesn't look like it. It's a very weird strategy. But the Molotov has to specifically be used there if you want to get the fastest time here. And, yeah, so that makes it so our inventory looks like this. 0, 1.5, and you have 1 Molotov. And you still have your nail bomb. So, yeah. As for bombs in the rest of the area, we got to go to the next spot. All right, next spot is just a little bit further ahead, is in the gym. We're going to use 1 Molotov on the bloater. And if you have enough shotgun and revolver ammo, it should all look like this. Molotov right there. 1, 2. Good enough. And that'll deplete all of your Molotovs for now. We use a lot more. But, yeah. Completely necessary to use
What was
on
up
the
with that
bloater.
big guy?
Again, we have...
Been infected for
You're
a
going to
long
get a
time.
lot more Molotovs
Call
than
them
nail
bloaters.
bombs in this run, so... I know it's convenient to use one of each to save ammo, but you need a nail bomb specifically for financial and science lab, like I mentioned before. And we'll get... There's a lot... I'd say alcohol and rags are probably the most frequent of crafting ingredients that are spread throughout the game, so... Yeah, don't worry about being at 0 here. It all works out in the end. But, yeah. Lock it in your minds. This is what you should have by this point. All right, we're at the beginning of Pittsburgh now. And not many bombs used in the beginning of Pittsburgh, but we're dealing with crafting ingredients now. So we get to killing the last group of enemies right here.
Get him!
And then while you still have sprint, go through this window here. There's a full thing of alcohol right here. Pick that up. And then
I think that's the last
in
of 'em.
here, there's a bunch of stuff.
You okay?
There's rifle ammo.
Yeah.
Let me get that
Guess
first.
so.
Good.
Let me find a way to get that. There we go.
You know,
And
we're
then
gonna
you
look
have
around, see if
a
there's anything we
quarter
can use.
explosive, and then half a blade. Half a blade. So by this point here, you should have this much. This much. Now, I'm not going to cut it because there's more crafting ingredients to pick up coming up.
All right, go. See if you can get it propped open with something.
There's some pretty gnarly stuff in here.
Ellie!
Right.
So the next part is going to be...
Okay, go!
So the next part's going to be 2 things of rags. I'll also show off the training manuals. I didn't mention that. There's 2 training manuals you pick up in the entire run. I'll show those off. So I'll just do what I normally do here, which is get the revolver ammo in the locker here. And then randomly, there's just a half a rag right here. Now, you want to make sure you don't pick up the smoke bomb accidentally or talk to Ellie. I think you can talk to Ellie without anything happening, but you want to just run up and pick up this half a rag right here, and then just keep going. Which should give you this much right here. 1, 2, quarter, and a half. And then you continue onward.
About the ambush.
I've been on both sides.
Now again, this is just ammo pickup. And supplement. But we also pick up this training manual. 1 of 2 that we pick up. This one gives you more health back during using a med kit. It comes pretty handy when you have to get past the military truck in case you have low health. So I do recommend picking that up. Then you come out here, and that brings us to our next crafting ingredient pickup, which I believe is another rag. I don't know how much.
That's our way out of here.
But we'll take
Ellie,
a look.
Slow down. Wait for me.
What? Right here.
How about you let me go first?
No, it's right here. It's hidden in the grass. It's right there. Right there. And it's a quarter.
I'm whistling.
So again, you swap weapons so you don't have to crouch to pick it up.
Something else that can drive me crazy.
Pick it up, and that gives you 2 1/4 rag. And again, don't worry about the crafting of the Molotov just yet. We can do that during some downtime. And yeah, lock it in your brain. You should have this much by this point. All right, so now we're further ahead in Pittsburgh, just before the hotel. And no crafting ingredient pickups, but we are going to craft a Molotov during downtime. Now, I just moved the pallet in the water, and Ellie's going to
Set that plank like they did.
set up the plank. And you can climb up here, hit down twice, and then just hold X to craft. And then that's when you continue on, and you don't really waste any time, as you can see.
Now you just need to find a way up.
But just lock it in place. No alcohol, 1 1/4 rag, quarter explosive, and half a blade. by this point. Okay, and that actually brings me to my next part, which is smoke bombs. This one's very difficult to explain.
Do you think those hunters are gone?
And I don't know if this is always going to be the case when the PC version comes out, but with the way it is right now, every smoke bomb,
Come on down.
it's right over here. You don't need the alcohol.
Fancy.
If you want it, you can avoid like a riskier strat later on. So if you're a beginner, I recommend picking this up because there's 3/4 alcohol
this is too
that's
rich for my
kind of difficult to pick up later on in financial. So if you're a beginner, pick this up. If not, and you're going to do the strat that I do in the middle of financial, you don't have to bother with this or this. It's like, oh, you're just going to ignore an entire smoke bomb. You want to ignore the previous smoke bombs for the same logic as the original, because then he's just like looking at it a bunch. If you pick them up later, you just pick it up. There's just one problem. There are 3 smoke bombs in the hotel, and this game's logic is, just like the original, when you pick up one, it despawns the later ones, so you only get one. Now, the way this works on the PS5 version, PC version isn't out yet at the time I'm recording this, so they might fix it. They might even fix it in this game, but as it is right now, all 3 of the smoke bombs in the hotel, if this is where you pick them up first, are glitched. Let me show you. Watch this. I picked it up, and it's here. But if I go to craft one, it's not there. See that? It is not there. And what it also does is it doesn't despawn the later ones. So, yeah, it's glitched. And as far as I know, it's only the ones in the hotel. I don't think there are any smoke bomb placements when you get out of the hotel. And the ones that you can pick up before hotel, they work just fine. But if you pick up your first one in hotel, it doesn't despawn the later ones, and you can't craft any. So if you want, you can have 3 smoke bombs. The way I currently do it in my runs, I try to save as much time as possible. So I just go right for the ladder, and I ignore these. But if you want it, for safety,
Fancy.
you can have it.
You ever stayed at a place like that?
Again, it's just the time it takes to pick it up and go here. But for my current
Too rich for my
route,
blood.
I don't pick it up. And I just continue onward. But yes, we are going to be picking up 2 of those smoke bombs. So, yeah. Something else I should mention about the smoke bombs. This has been the case for me. Hold on. There's something else I need to show you. This one's weird, and I think it affects what happens later. If you pick it up with the weapon swapping thing that I showed you,
No, this is too rich
it's
for my
not in your inventory. See that? It's not there. I picked it up. It's not there anymore. But because I picked it up with the weapon swapping thing so he didn't grab it, it's just not there. However, if you pick it up with your bare hands, just normally, there it is.
No, this is too rich for my blood.
And I have a theory. I haven't tested it yet. Pretty much all the runners who run grounded in this game, when you get to sniper, any smoke bomb you had just doesn't appear in your inventory. Like if you had a smoke bomb, once you make it to the dam, it's just not there anymore. Now I've had a run where it has been there, and other runs where it's not there. I think it has to do with how you pick it up. Now, if you do pick up the smoke bomb with the weapon swapping thing, when you pick up your next smoke bomb, the second one will be there. So it's not like it just vanishes. It's there, it's just not showing. It'll be there when you pick up your next one. But yeah, complicated, bugged. That's actually a good question. If you use the nail bomb, I shouldn't be testing things during a tutorial, but if you use the nail bomb, is the smoke bomb there? That's a good question. Here, let's see.
No, this is too rich for my blood.
Oh yeah, there it is. All right, so it's there. It's just not. It's just. Don't worry yourself. Okay. The run is routed so that we use 2 smoke bombs we use one at the military truck and another at Henry's. That's really all we use a smoke bomb. If you want an extra one, you could use it for safety in sewers or sniper or somewhere like that. Then you would get it here, and you'll have 3. When you comes time to use it, however you pick it up, you'll have them. Okay. I just needed to point this out.
Fancy. Ever stay at a place
So yeah, we routed the game so that we don't need any smoke bombs
No, this is too rich for
after
my blood.
Henry's. If you want a third one, it's right there. And, yeah, I know, it's weird. But let me skip ahead to later on in the hotel. All right, next up is just a little bit further ahead, the hotel. Now, for the hotel, we're going to be picking up a thing of explosives and a full thing of alcohol and our first smoke bomb. Again, if you want to pick it up down there, you can. It's faster if you don't, and for the route that's in place right now, we don't need it. So, yeah, here we go.
Oh, shit. Get down.
You got to go through this part first. All right, so the first thing we're going to pick up is a thing of explosives. Now, it's out of our way, but other explosives that we would pick up are even further out of your way, so this is the fastest. We pick up this one, and we do the swapping thing while we're getting it. So, full thing of explosives right there. And we continue onward. Full thing of explosives on the ground. Now this is just a thing of supplements. We always pick it up here. Ignore it.
Search these rooms.
Get rid of these guys, or just this guy. Oh, I shot him in the throat. Continue onward. And right up here, we're going to do the swapping guns thing again. Smoke bomb, full thing of alcohol. Now again, like I noticed, I did the gun swapping thing, so it's not there, but it's also there. Okay? And then you enter the elevator shaft, and yeah, this is what you should have here. Again, the smoke bomb's not going to show up, but it is there. And we'll use it later. Again, the smoke bombs are used in Financial District and Henry's. So kind of like back-to-back areas. You don't need them after that. You don't really need them before that, just in those 2 areas. But 1 alcohol, 1 1/4 rag, 1 1/4 explosive, and half a blade. So, yeah. And, yeah. Lock it in your brains. Sorry, real quick, I need to add. I just, this is stuff I should know, but I just realized we only need the explosives and the blades to craft 1 extra nail bomb. All we craft in this run are Molotovs and 1 nail bomb. The 2 smoke bombs we have, we use. We don't craft any. We only craft a bunch of Molotovs and 1 nail bomb. Now, if you notice, we have 1 1/4. That's because the quarter explosive we picked up was in that drawer in Pittsburgh where we held triangle to pick all of them up. You technically don't need that one, but you need the other things that are in there. So you pick that up, and you're just going to end up with a 1/4 extra explosive when the run is over. And that also is kind of true for the rags and alcohol as well. I forget which one specifically, but when you're finished with the run, you're going to end up with slightly extra. And it's mainly because there are very few crafting ingredients where it's just a 1/4. Most of them are full ones like you've seen, or just halves. So, yeah, there's no reason to skip the explosive in the drawer because, again, you need the other things that came with it, which was rifle ammo and blade. So, yeah, just one of those things. You're going to end up with that 1/4 extra explosive when the run is over. Don't worry about that. But, yeah, let's get to the next thing. Okay, we got quite a bit here. So we, this one's kind of hidden. but again, the later smoke bombs don't despawn. And again, I recommend picking up this one with your bare hands because it makes financial fight just a tiny bit easier. But yeah, there's a smoke bomb right here. Again, they're all kind of bugged. They don't despawn. Those are the 3 that I'm talking about. The one when you first enter hotel, the one in the suitcase next to the elevator, and then right here before financial district. And yeah, I recommend picking this one up with your bare hands just to guarantee that you have it in your inventory. And yeah, the crafting ingredients are the same as the last time I showed. We haven't picked any up. Now, financial fight. In this fight, we use 1 nail bomb and 1 Molotov. And that's really all we have right now. There hasn't really been any downtime to craft an extra Molotov. No downtime whatsoever. You do that later. You do it later. Where do I do it? Hold on. Big brain time. Where do I craft my Molotov? I crafted, I believe, at Henry's. Yes, I crafted at Henry's when I'm just waiting for him. So, okay. I'm probably going to mess up this fight a little bit, but I just want to show you where you use these two bombs. Nail bomb, Molotov. You use the nail bomb right away.
Right, I would have done.
They're all dead! They're all fucking dead!
The hell's he yapping about?
On that guy. You want to throw it at that guy, and it'll kill everybody.
Good job, kiddo.
And then Molotov will kill some of those guys. I think that's everyone. All right, not bad. Now, there's a Molotov right there.
All right, come on down.
All right, that wasn't that bad of a fight. This fight is the worst fight in the entire run. That wasn't that bad. So yeah, throw the nail bomb at that enemy. As long as it hits him, it'll kill everybody, and then you take out the one that's too far away for it to affect. And then you Molotov the group of enemies that are supposed to like ball together in between these trucks here when they spawn in. And in the original, you can see the Molotov lying on the ground right over there. If in the original, whatever you didn't pick up in this area would despawn after the next cutscene. That's not in this game. It'll be there after the cutscene because it's all seamless. I guess that's the reason. So you don't have to worry about picking this stuff up before you lose control of Joel. So right here, you see, area's over. Skip cutscene. I usually like to
Now the safety zone.
reload while I'm here.
I do.
But there's the Molotov right there.
You gotta
And this
respect
Molotov
it.
came from one of the enemies that we killed, who, he's one of the Molotov guys, the guys in the red shirts. There's 2 of them in this area. One will drop a rag. Another will drop a full Molotov. They do that every time. It's not random. Now, funny enough, we don't need this rag. You don't have to pick it up. It'll just be excess. It doesn't benefit you at all whatsoever. You do need this, though. So make sure you pick that up before you get going. And then you will have this. Once again, just lock it in your mind. And that's kind of it for this area. All right, next part is the tripwire part of financial. Now, there are no bombs used here. We're just going to pick up alcohol that 2 Molotov guys drop. This isn't a difficult strat when you get it and understand it. However, the picking up of the crafting ingredients, this is definitely the hardest. So it'll be like the third to last and second to last enemies that we kill. In my actual tutorial, I'll go over how to perform this area. But we rely on drops from these next 2 enemies. 1, 2. And he will drop quarter alcohol and half. And then you take out this guy. I'm not going to show that again, just because, but that's exactly how it was supposed to go. I know it looks like I cut it close with the last enemy, but I don't normally slow down that much. I sprint all the way to where the alcohol's dropped. But those two enemies always drop a combined half and a quarter. And this strategy is consistent. You just need to know how it works, and when I make my actual tutorial, I'll explain it in very specific detail. But yeah. We have incorporated those two alcohol pickups as part of the run. So, afterwards, and then we restart checkpoint to places closer to the ladder. But that'll leave you with this amount of stuff.
I was too damn close.
1 3/4, 1 1/4, a quarter,
Excuse me.
and half. These two are going to stay the same for a while. We're pretty much done with explosives for the run. And we have one more thing of blades to pick up later.
Endurance.
But the rags and the alcohol, we're still picking them up at a pretty big rate. So, yeah. But that's it for here. All right, a little bit further ahead, we're at the military truck now. This one can be a pain. It involves, basically you leap through this window in a very specific way. You stop sprinting there, and then you do a sprint leap and hit circle. And then you throw the smoke bomb at this guy. Now, what the smoke bomb does is it prevents the military turret from shooting you. It's very weird. This is like how you get the most out of the smoke bomb. Let me just show it off real quick. I also keep the camera off them.
7.
Now, if you notice, the turret just isn't going to shoot us. See that? And by that point, we're just gone. This area is where we get the most out of the smoke bomb.
Nope. 7.
Throw it at him. It affects the other guy as well. And you just keep going.
Allie, get away from him!
Now, the turret won't fire at you as long as the smoke is still in effect. So you get right here, and the turret's ready to fire at you. So it really is like the perfect strategy.
Nope. 7.
Now, if the smoke doesn't take out the guy further to the right, then you also encounter a bit of a problem. But yeah, it's a fantastic strategy. You even make it behind cover just in time for the military turret to start shooting you. And yeah, that leaves you with one smoke bomb, which we actually use in the next area. Right, and now we are at Henry's. This is going to be the second and last training manual we pick up. And it's this one right here. Now this one, I believe, does an expanded radius of your Molotovs, which helps you in quite a few areas. It helps you in the searchlight bar, and it also helps you in the ranch. It helps you in the dam when you throw it in the doorway. It helps you pretty much everywhere else that you use a Molotov. So this one, it's not just like, oh, we can do without it. No, pick it up. Pick it up. Trust me on that. And then you just go. Now, I'll mention this in my tutorial, but if you just go for the thing and pick this up here, Henry's just going to be like, let me contemplate my entire existence before I walk through the door.
I heard some bad stuff going on.
There we go. And even then, he's slow. What you want to do is walk in the front of this door's invisible wall, like that. Pick this up, and Henry will move right away.
Where are you from?
All the way from Hart.
Right away. Faster than he would have if you didn't do that. Just figured I should mention that. And yeah, make sure you pick that up and do it in the way that I just showed you. Right, and that's it for here. All right, we're just a little bit further. We're in the toy store. We just got finished with the in-game cinematic of Henry saying, like, the rule, what is it? We only take what we have to. So then you get to moving, and we're gonna perform this area. But this is where I usually like to craft a Molotov right here, because it's just downtime. And then just lock it in your head. This is what you need by this point. 0, 3/4, 1/4, and then the blades and the explosives are the same. All right. Now, that leads into the next area. We're going to use our second and last smoke bomb that we picked up in Hotel. This is a beautiful strat. Watch this.
What'd you find?
Oh, shit!
And then you continue onward. It's a really nice strategy. Now, there's probably something out there that's a little faster, but you're using a bomb that literally is free. You just pick it up, and you're able to just do all of that. Now, there are some specifics to the strategy overall. Like, if you sprint past this point right here,
Over here!
they'll hear you. And if you don't crouch, like, you just need to let go of sprint right about here. If you don't crouch soon enough,
What'd you find?
I think they also hear you.
Looks like someone was up there.
Whatever. It's no rush because you also need to wait before you throw it. If you throw it too early, here, watch.
What'd you find?
Holy shit!
All right, it didn't happen there, but sometimes if you throw it too early, it doesn't hit the guy in the back. So my timing mechanism is after the guy's finished saying, "What'd you find?"
What'd you find?
And then throw it. And then you take them all out. And I usually like to pick up the melee weapon that that guy drops before continuing onward. Yeah, very efficient, very nice. And that's it for smoke bombs this run. And yeah, that's about it. All right, next spot is in, like I mentioned, it's in the bar area. We're going to use a Molotov here. There are no crafting ingredients to pick up. We're just going to use a bomb.
Around to the other side!
Strategy looks a little bit like this.
Sounds like they...
Works well enough. So, yeah, what you want to do here... I don't use a restart encounter here, but you want to run in, pick up the bottle, leap over, and then if you get alerted, the throw is the same whether you get alerted or not. You want to throw it right about, not too early, you want to throw it right about there, which is like just to the left of this thing. Again, not like here, but you want to throw it right about there. That'll get this guy and these two enemies here. The only person it won't get is that guy. But that's why you want to, like, throw it here, sprint in, pick up the pipe this guy drops, and then do a slow kill on this guy to avoid, like, the begging and stuff. I can do it again, I think.
Sounds like they found it. Huh? You see that shit?
Alright, it's obviously a little different from a restart encounter, but you get the point. If you do it without a restart encounter, this is the spot you want to aim for. You're never going to be able to get this guy. It's just, yeah. And that should leave you with this amount of stuff. Crafting ingredients are the same. We're just down one more Molotov. And, yeah. By the way, I'm just noticing this now. The only shiv we pick up... yeah, I didn't mention this in the beginning. The only shiv we pick up is right before cargo, when you're waiting for Marlene to move that big blue door. And we use the shiv for when you first enter Billstown. I forgot to mention that one. It's the only shiv you need to pick up and the only shiv that you use in the entire run. We don't use any shivs on enemies, only doors. And we use it on that one shiv door next to the two clickers, like right around the time you first enter Billstown. So, yeah. But besides that, 3/4, 1/4, the 1 1/4 explosives and half a blade is what you should have at this point. And 1 Molotov. All right, next spot is the dam fight. But before we get there, the actual next spot, it takes too long to get here, so I'm just going to use my record. So we go from the bar to here, and the next thing you pick up, you can't miss it. There's a full Molotov on the table right there. And that will give us 2. Can't miss it. At the end of the sewers, Molotov on the table, that will give you 2. Which brings us to dam fight. Now, where we use the Molotov is pretty much the same as the original. We're going to use it in that doorway on the other end of the bridge.
Shit! Bandits! Stop them! Don't let them into the
But
building!
we got to get there first. Can I make it through, please? Pretty please. Tommy's so helpful here, isn't he?
You guys see anything?
Right. The biggest thing with this strategy is don't go on the bridge before Tommy's started talking. Molotov gets all of them. Even if it doesn't look like it's going to get all of them, it gets all of them. The throw doesn't have to be perfect or specific. You just need to throw it a little bit after the door opens. Don't throw it late, throw it early. And it gets all 5 guys right there. And like I was talking about before, here, I'll show it off here. Normally, you would checkpoint and it places you closer to the door, but is this pathfinding broken? Whatever. When we're right here and I kill these guys and Tommy's just like, you guys see any of them? If you're here when he says that, you will soft lock. They will kill you through cover. Because like an extra enemy spawns in and like just, I don't know if it's a failsafe or if it's a glitch or not. Basically, if you're standing here when Tommy starts talking, you guys see any of them? You'll be fine. But if you're like right here when he says it, you're going to glitch the game out. So, yeah, that's the only thing you need to pay attention to. Other than that, that Molotov throw, perfect. And then it brings you
That's all those sons of bitches. We gotta get to
right
the
here.
girls. Right behind you.
And you should have this much in your inventory. Yeah. All right, so now we are inside of the ranch building. Right here, we're going to use our 1 remaining Molotov that we currently have. And we're also going to pick up this blade right here. There's binding there. We don't need any binding. But that blade gives us the 1 blade we needed for our nail bomb that we're going to use in Science Lab. Now, that makes it so pretty much the only explosive we needed was in Hotel, and the 2 blades you needed were in Financial in the drawer and right here. So it's simplified with regards to nail bombs. Molotovs, we're picking things up. It's kind of spread out, but trust me, you'll end up with exactly what you need. We still need 1 more Molotov for the run, but we'll pick that up later. But yeah, as for the crafting of this nail bomb, you can do it in 2 places. You can do it right after this fight is over, or you can do it in like the university sneaking section with the bloater and clicker. I recommend doing it here, just so you can focus completely on performing that area properly. But yeah, we're going to use 1 Molotov here, and it's going to look like... What's going to happen is an enemy's going to throw a smoke bomb on the ground, and you're going to be right here, and they will not hurt you no matter what, as long as you're stationary right here. And then they're all going to run into position, and you just Molotov them all. So...
Hang back.
Boom. and it takes out all of them. And because you're in the smoke, they're not going to hurt you. And it's consistent. Now what you want to do here is swap to the surety and then craft the nail bomb here. It takes a while for the game to recognize the area as finished.
All right.
Like that. See that? So, yeah. That leaves you with no Molotovs. Pretty much no bombs of any kind except for the nail bomb. And, yeah, that will lead nicely into the next area. All right. Science lab. Now, the usage of the nail bomb here is, God, very interesting.
Hello?
We're going to enter here and then drop a nail bomb right here. Drop it right there. You don't want to drop it over here. You want to drop it specifically
Fireflies!
right over here.
Here for mankind over here.
And then
Anyone?
we
Keep it down until we
continue
figure out what's going on.
to the fight. And you'll see what happens in a bit. Okay, now for the actual science lab fight itself. Hopefully this goes well so I can show it off. Basically, enemies are going to spawn right on the nail bomb. Right there.
Over here.
And that just makes the rest of this very convenient. See that? So this is where we came in, and we dropped it right here. Enemies spawn in, they spawn right in on the nail bomb. Beautiful strat. It even stays there throughout the cutscene that just played, and whether you watch it or skip it. The game doesn't despawn it. So they blow up by it. Super, super convenient. Let's pretend I killed him. They don't all have to die. But then, yeah, just like that. I know it seems like you could get like a much better use out of the nail bomb than that, but trust me, this area is unforgivable if you don't do it that way. Science lab is almost a non-issue right now because of that nail bomb. And yeah, otherwise, they all have one-hit kill weapons. So yeah, making the most out of that one nail bomb. And yeah, we're almost finished here, but that's it for Science Lab. All right, we are nearing the end now. We are in the bus depot. Before I hit triangle on that ladder,
We could use that ladder.
this is what you should have. Same as before.
Here we go.
Now the last things of crafting ingredients we need. The last Molotov we're going to use is the last door in the hospital.
Ellie?
Now this one is optional, but that door is pretty heavily
Ellie?
guarded with shotgun guys and assault rifle guys and a guy with an El Diablo. You really want a Molotov. So, right behind us. I like to swap out my weapons here. But right behind us, there is 3/4 of a rag. 3/4 of a rag, which gives us a full rag exactly, which is exactly what we want.
Oh my god.
So you should have this by now.
What is it? Ellie! Ellie!
And the last crafting ingredient, strangely enough, that we need is actually in the hospital. All right, hospital time. This might take me a couple tries to get this strategy to work. This is one of the more stranger strategies. But the alcohol we're looking for is in the next room. Alright, ignore the fact that I got alerted. The thing we're looking for is right here. Half a thing of alcohol, and when you don't get alerted, these guys run past you, and you have time to craft it for the last floor. Let me do that one more time, and maybe the strategy will actually work for once. I know I need to find something better for this area. But, so far, not much on this front. There we go. All right, so what you do, crouch, pick it up, craft it. These guys run past you, you lose no time at all.
Come on down there. You hear what I...
It's a nice strategy. Well, that strategy I'm not a big fan of, but like the picking up of the alcohol, having just enough, and then running through. Crafting it and then running through, I really like that. Now, you do end with a quarter extra alcohol, but it's like I mentioned before, there isn't like a specific amount of alcohol in this game where you can end with exactly what you need, like 0. We didn't waste time and pick up an extra quarter. We just happened to pick things up in multiples of like halves or 3/4 or whole ones or something like that. So, yeah, it's just one of those things. We didn't lose any time by acquiring it. Right, and I'll just go from here. I'll show you where you use the Molotov. Like I said, it's the last door right over here. Takes a little while to get there, but... You're gonna see, this strategy is a bit scary to do without a Molotov.
Right here! Don't let him get to the kid! Watch my back!
And then you're through. Now, if I didn't have that Molotov, for shits and giggles, I'll try and, like, do it without a Molotov. It's not gonna be pretty. I can tell you that. Especially if you take damage prior. Okay. You can make it through. That's what I meant by it being optional. But if I had a Molotov, I could have gotten rid of that first guy and then had a brick for a little bit of defense, for if there was someone else already aiming at me. Trust me, you really want it here. Plus, an extra Molotov for the run, like say you don't have it here, you could use it somewhere else, which isn't really actually the case. Where would we use it? I don't know. Where you could save time, I really don't know. And again, you only acquire this Molotov at the last second. So it's not like by not using it here, you have an extra one to use somewhere else. You only acquire it at the very last second. So you may as well use it here, and you didn't waste any time by acquiring it. So yeah, use it here. Trust me. The only reason I didn't die there is because I didn't shoot early, okay? You don't want to take that chance on the literal last part of the run. Now, before I move on to the next thing, that is like the final part, but there are some things I forgot to mention, like medkits. I forgot to talk about picking up medkits. So this is the last part of slums right here. There's a fresh medkit right there on the table. So when you're killing these enemies, you want to get the medkit on this table before the checkpoint is hit. So that gives you a medkit there. And then this is before Billstown at the Capitol, like I mentioned, in the subway. Right before you leave, there's a medkit on this chair right here. I don't think that's there in the original, but it's here. It's right there. Medkit right there. And those are the only 2 medkits you need for the run. It's a little bit better to have more than that, but not necessary if you put up a good quality attempt. And shivs. Like I mentioned before, shivs don't have a lot of uses in this game. But this is in cargo. There's one shiv that you pick up, and even though he picked it up slowly, we're still waiting for Marlene behind us. So, yeah, there's one. And then there's another shiv here. If you want to do a different strategy than what I do somewhere else and you want an extra shiv, there's just a random shiv right before you start Graveyard on this table here. So there's a second shiv if you want one. And then I forgot to talk about the modded weapons. The logic here, hold on. The logic here is the same as the original. It works kind of like a bomb, where if you pick up your first one, it'll despawn the later ones. So you want to delay picking one up until you can use it in the most convenient spot in the game, which is truck push by far. You want the modded bat for truck push. So you delay, hold on. You delay picking up any modded weapon in your way until you can pick it up right here. Now this one wouldn't be here if we picked one up prior. You can only pick up one. So yeah, you want it for this one. And yeah, that's about it for the entire game. Now, the video's not finished yet because we have to go over the Ellie parts in Winter. Which is pretty much just the coal mine. There are a bunch of crafting ingredients, and we do use some bombs in coal mine. The rest of Winter, we don't use any bombs or pick up any crafting ingredients whatsoever, but we do have to go over coal mine. So let's do that. All right, and here we are in coal mine. This, more specifically, the second part of coal mine fight. So we haven't picked up any crafting ingredients, and we don't have anything. But in this area,
Anything?
there is
How on earth did they use this?
a Molotov,
So what do we do?
a nail bomb,
We hold our ground.
and then enough crafting ingredients
Die.
to craft one Molotov and one extra nail bomb. Exactly enough, as you can see. Now, as for how this area specifically works, again, I'll go into more detail in my actual tutorial, but you don't want to pick all this stuff up right here.
Keep your eyes open.
Because once you get to this part of the game, part of the area right here, for each object you pick up, that delays when the enemies spawn in. It's a weird strategy, I know. But basically, you want to pick this stuff up in the middle of the fight. Not before, and obviously not after, because you need the stuff. And all these bombs are used on the bloater. So this is going to take a while, but I'm going to try and go through the entire fight just to show you.
Did they use this building?
Coal mine's a little bit more simple in the remake compared to the original.
Is there any other choice?
So if I had picked something up, these enemies would have spawned in like 10 seconds later. So this will be a little lengthy, but I'm just going to go through the entire fight and show you like when to pick this stuff up and where to use it.
You hear that? We're on the roof.
I know.
They like to pick up the Molotov and the brick there. And then I like the arrow, nail bomb, this and that right there. Right, that one dropped ammo. Okay, now what I did right there was, that's the last enemy in this first wave. When you kill him and you pick something up right away, it doesn't matter what it is, and you pick it up right away, which is a rag, the next wave will spawn in right away, and you only want to pick up one thing. So I leave that crafting ingredient there intentionally, so I kill that one, and then pick this up. The next wave should spawn in
Doesn't feel like it.
Here come more.
right away, and it does.
Are there?
I have no idea. Just keep at
And
it.
I use the time that they're spawning in here to reload my rifle and craft what I need for the bloater. One. Yep. Boom. Reload what I need. Just be patient here. Now this is what we're gonna use the bombs for. This is a good strategy. Reload. Place 2 nail bombs right here. 1, 2. It's good to place them and not throw them because sometimes the nail bombs sink beneath the snow. All right. Now, arrow. Rifle. Molotov. Molotov. Nail bombs. He's dead. And that's that.
Hey, kid.
Yeah?
You know, I think we did it.
And those are all the crafting ingredients and the bomb usages in the entirety of Winter, believe it or not. So yeah, that's all the crafting ingredients, bombs, bomb usages, training manuals, medkits, shivs, modded weapons used in a Last of Us Remake grounded speedrun. Hopefully you learned something. Someone in chat, did you mention to specifically pick up only one thing there? Yes. That last runner that I kill and then pick up something, well, not the last runner in the first wave, you pick something up. If you pick up a second or third thing after that, the spawn of the next wave is delayed. So for some reason, this was all told by Crooked, the Naughty Dog dev, that that's just how it kind of works. It's actually kind of a bug. He mentioned it's kind of a bug brought over from the original game. There's supposed to be a long gap in between, like the waves, so Ellie and David can converse. But if you pick something up right after you kill the last enemy, the next wave spawns in right away. Yeah, but if you pick up a second and third thing right after that, it doesn't work. So it specifically has to be one thing. And then you can start picking things up again when David says, "Here come more." That means the next wave's already spawned in. Mouthful, I know. But yeah, there's timing to picking up the specific things. You want to pick up pretty much every crafting ingredient in the middle of the fight. Leave one so you can guarantee you can pick something up after you kill the last enemy in the first wave. But yeah. And yeah, that's about it. Hopefully you learned something, and I'll go into a lot more detail in my actual tutorial, which I'm making soon. So yeah, thanks for watching, and I'll see you guys. Bye.